can share their thoughts with each other and understand different approaches, different visions, but at the same time concentrate on collective aims. I would like to especially thank Adrian for inviting me here, and I would like to apologize again for being late. I have been quite ill, and I was not actually planning to be here today, but because of this highly important event, I thought, no, I have to go. So I haven't really prepared any speech. A couple of things out of my heart which I would like to share with you before I start, something about myself. I was born and brought up in the Netherlands. My parents migrated from Pakistan to the Netherlands in the 70s. So I was born there, and I was brought up there. I went to school there, and I lived in a multicultural society. I lived in a society where my neighbors were not just Muslims. So some of them were Christians, some of them were Jews, some of them were Hindus, and some of them were followers of other religions. And I had friends who I visited their homes, and they would visit my home, and I would sleep over in their houses sometimes. They would sleep in my houses, even though they were of different backgrounds, different religions. My father, being an Islamic scholar, he never opposed me sleeping over in someone else's house, being a young child. Which today, when I realize and think about that, I'm surprised and I wonder that normally we people, we would like to isolate ourselves because we are afraid that if we integrate, we might lose our own identity, our own values. But those people which have a forward thinking, which think beyond their current time, but which think about the aims and objectives, which think about that the world should be a peaceful place, should be a place full of tolerance, and that tolerance cannot be achieved if there is acceptance, if there is mutual understanding, if there is integration. They have a different approach, and I thank God that my father was among those scholars who had that approach. Later on, I went to Pakistan to study at the age of 17. I studied under one of the famous Islamic authorities, Shaykh Islam, Dr. Al-Qadri, who has last year launched a fatwa against terrorism. Then I came to Ireland, and you might wonder, why did I come to Ireland? I was from the Holland. I went to Pakistan to study. The reason was because my wife, being a Pakistani citizen, could not get a visa for the Netherlands. Because unfortunately, after 9/11, the Dutch embassy closed its doors for 2 years. So I had just one option to stay where I am and wait. I waited for a year. Embassy never opened. And then I was told by some close friends that if you migrate to another country, and I had in my planning that I wanted to do a PhD in English. And so I was planning to go to an English-speaking country anyway. So anyhow, I chose Ireland, and I came to Ireland. When I came to Ireland, initially, as I said, I did not come here to propagate my religion. I did not come here to convert Irish people to Islam. I came here for my family. I came here to unite with my family, so there could be a reunion with my family. But while I was here, I realized in the place I was living, which is Clonee, Dublin 15, that there were a very small number of members of the Muslim community. As members of any faith, they had their own requirements. They wanted to be connected with their religion. Even though they were living in Ireland, they were working as doctors, they wanted that their children who were being brought up in Ireland get their basic Islamic education. And they had a place of worship. So by seeing the need, I established at that time the Islamic Center, which was known at that time as Clonee Islamic Center. Clonee Islamic Center was established in 2004 with about 25 members, 30 members. And then there came a stage that because that was a house, we were actually renting that house and using it as a mosque, that we had to move out of that house because we had so many people coming to the mosque that we had trouble and difficulty with the Fingal County Council because of parking issues. And I don't blame the Fingal County Council here, I don't blame them, but there was a need. Now, at that time, unfortunately, the County Council did not offer us any solution, any practical solution. They didn't come to us and let us know that we understand that you have a need, your community needs a place of worship, needs a community center, and we would like to sit down with you and we would like to arrange it. They never said this. Simply what they did was they wrote a letter with 20,000 euro of fine on my name. And they said, you either stop your activities, religious activities, or either you pay the fine 20,000. And we bring you to court. So we had to stop there. We moved to a unit, a rented unit. And we are until now renting. And we are in that unit. Al-Mustafa Islamic Center is now not anymore in Clonee, but because it's huge membership, we have about 400 members now. We are based in Blanchardstown. And we have 125 students which in the weekend school, which runs Saturday and Sunday, they visit and they come and they get their Islamic education from the Islamic Center in Blanchardstown. This was a bit about myself. Today's topic, as I understand, is about pluralism, religious pluralism. Religious pluralism enables the country, which is made of people of different faiths, that they exist without sectarian warfare. And before coming to religious pluralism, let me share with you that I believe that there are two stages of pluralism within religion. The first one is intra-religious pluralism. And the second one is inter-religious pluralism. What is intra-religious pluralism? Intra-religious pluralism is, as most of the faiths, they have within the faith different schools of thought, different madhahab, we say in Arabic, different interpretations of the same source of their religion. For example, we as Muslims, our source of Islamic law is the Quran and the Hadith. But yet you have different views, you have different schools of thoughts because there are different interpretations. You have the Maliki school of thought, you have the Hanafi school of thought, you have the Shafi'i school of thought, and then you have also schools of thought which are based on little differences on theology. For example, the Sunni school of thought, the Salafi school of thought, the Wahhabi school of thought, the Deobandi school of thought, and the Bareli school of thought. They are various different schools of thoughts. In Ireland, for example, Muslims, they came here, and from different schools of thoughts, for example, in Clonee, the example I wanted to give you, is that I realized that this is going to be an Islamic center which will not cater for just my own school of thought. It will have to cater for all Muslims. So those who are there to a different school of thought should be welcome also in the same Islamic center. They should feel no exclusion. Those who don't adhere to those views which I adhere to, even they should be accepted. And they should be allowed to come and to pray according to their own way, according to their own interpretation. And this is what I did at that time. That I made sure that in the Islamic Center, Clonee Islamic Center, until the day of today, there are people who belong to the Shia school of thought, the Shia Mazhab and the Sunni and the Wahhabi, Salafi, all of them, they come in the congregation and we all pray together. This was not easy. This is not easy, to be very honest with you. I faced a lot of opposition. Opposition from those who are there from my own school of thought. Yes, those who belong to my own school of thought, the Sunni, Sufi school of thought. And why are you trying to unite everybody? They don't believe in this. They have different views. Let them do whatever they want to do. And I faced opposition from those who were from other schools of thought. That this person, he is not following the correct Islam, he's following a different version of Islam, etc., etc. But thank God, I didn't stop there. I saw this as a challenge. And I thought that in order to face this challenge, what is the problem I'm facing? I'm facing ignorance. I'm facing lack of basic values of Islam here. Not just Islam, all religions, by the way. And that is tolerance. That is acceptance. That tolerance and acceptance, you know how I tackle this? By giving on the Friday lectures, not lectures about various different events and stories like normally people as scholars on the Friday prayer, they give. They will talk, for example, on honesty, and then they will talk from the Quran, from the Hadith, on just that particular topic. I chose to talk on contemporary issues. I chose to talk on issues or topics in which I would find a way to educate the congregation. And And I think as an Islamic scholar or religious leader, not just an Islamic, as any religious leader, I think it's the responsibility of the leader itself to educate its congregation. Because the congregation has a very strong link with the leader. They have a trust with the leader. Use that trust as a religious leader. You must tell them what religion is all about, and religion is all about tolerance. And I will come to that later on. But these are just certain things we face difficulties in terms of that. That's fine, thank you very much. Now, coming to religious pluralism, and then inter-religious pluralism. I think if we cannot fulfill and succeed in intra-religious pluralism, we cannot succeed in inter-religious pluralism either. This is why it is very important. In our meetings of the Council of Irish Imams, I am a member of that council, in which we have different scholars from different schools of thoughts. I have proposed many times one thing, and I said that in order religion is about tolerance, it's about acceptance and mutual understanding. And it's not always about competition, it's more about contribution. I said I would like to suggest one practical step, and that is that why don't we, as Islamic scholars, rotate the Friday lectures within the mosques? So sometimes, instead of in my Islamic center, myself speaking on Friday, an imam of another mosque will come and speak on Friday. And I will go to a different mosque and I will speak. You can do this in churches as well. And then you choose, obviously, those which are topics which are common between the different views. You chose those topics which are common. So this is a suggestion I gave. Until now, unfortunately, it has not been practiced yet. It has not been accepted yet. And hopefully I'm trying to push in the meetings that we should definitely do that. And there is no harm. And my vision, my personal vision, is the vision of the Prophet Muhammad. And let me tell you what the vision of Prophet Muhammad was. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who is the founder of Islam, and yet a lot of Muslims even don't know this, what I'm going to say, is that 1400 years ago, when he was the head of the state of Medina, the city of Medina, certain Christians from Abyssinia came, a big delegation. Why would they come to Medina? Because in Medina there were not only Muslims, there were Jews living and there were Christians. And they came to propagate their religion and to motivate and inspire the followers of their religion. Like sometimes in our countries, in Ireland for example, you have scholars, Muslim scholars, who visit mosques. Why do they visit? Because they would like to, because they give lectures and they inspire and motivate. The same way, the Prophet Muhammad did not oppose this whatsoever. In fact, when the delegation came, they asked him a question, being the head of the state. They asked that, "Oh Muhammad, we are here in your, in this area in Medina. We have an issue, and the issue is we do not find any place to stay. We have no place to stay in the nights. The houses of our followers are very limited, and they cannot, cater for us. We cannot stay there. There's no capacity." The Prophet Muhammad said that, "You know what? Let me give you an option to stay, and I will give you the most sacred site and place, which in our views is, and that is the house of God, the mosque." He said, "You as Christians, you are allowed to come and stay in the night and sleep in the mosque itself." So these Christian delegation, the scholars, the priests, they slept in the mosque. But then they asked another question. They said, "But that is fine, but how about prayers? We have to pray as well. So what do we do when we have to pray? Are we allowed in your mosque?" Because they were afraid. They thought maybe he will not allow us to pray. Are we allowed to pray? The Prophet Muhammad never said that you follow a different religion. We follow a different religion. If you want to pray, go outside and pray somewhere else. He said no. He said this is a place of worship. Yes, we believe in one God. You believe also in the same God. And you have different ways of worshipping Him. But I, being Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, I allow you to also worship in the mosque according to your own way. So the Prophet of Islam, his tolerance, acceptance was beyond our current situation of the Muslims. And I think this is something we as Islamic scholars or religious leaders need to emphasize and educate our congregations about the real core values of our religions. In order for us to have a society which is a society of religious pluralism, I would like to mention and I would like to share with you